Hi everyone, I'm Keith Urban. Welcome to the Play a Lesson series entitled 30 Songs in 30 Days. Now, whether you're just a beginner looking to solve the mystery of the guitar, or if you're someone who's already played for a bit and you're looking to build up your skills, it's really great that you've decided to take the leap of faith with us. I promise you'll learn a lot and it'll be a fun ride. Before we get to the first lesson, I wanted to quickly talk about the 30 Songs in 30 Days lesson series and how it came to be, what it means to me and why it makes sense for you. Now, I've hung around a lot of guitar players, and we all seem to have one thing in common. I call it the aha moment. It's that moment when you take everything you've been trying to learn and pull it all together, and you play the very first song. It's the kind of feeling you get when you get your diploma on graduation day, or when you see your husband or your wife at the end of the aisle at your wedding, or when you see your baby take their first steps. It's that feeling you have filled with the joy of accomplishing something that you've always dreamed about. It's an amazing moment. And I'm telling you, once you get there, once you get to that first song, you'll be hooked. I should know that's exactly what happened to me. Now, the tough thing is, not everyone who starts out trying to learn the guitar actually makes it to that very first song. Almost everyone who tries to learn the guitar first tries to force themselves to muck through all of the quote-unquote beginner theory, scales, notes, arpeggios, all while trying to keep the faith that eventually they'll be able to play that song. And it's in that beginning, in that limbo, when they don't know whether they can actually do it or not, whether they can actually make music. That's when a lot of folks give up. I'm not going to let that happen to you. I learned a little differently than most people. Now, I started by learning songs. And in learning those first songs, I noticed some patterns and chords that seemed to show up again and again, each one kind of like a piece of a puzzle. I still pick up a new puzzle piece from time to time. I mean, I'm always playing, I'm always learning. But the great thing is, most of the greatest songs in the world are built using the same pieces, just in different ways. It's the amazing thing about the guitar. If you learn just a few core concepts, you can fit them together in different ways, and you can literally play thousands of your favorite songs. That's what we're going to do here. We'll set aside the theory and the sheet music and the technical stuff. We're still going to give you those puzzle pieces, but we're going to do that a bit by bit in a very specific order over the next 30 days, and we're going to do it by using songs. We're going to do it so you can play a great song today, another great song tomorrow, another song next day, and so on and so on. We're going to get you to that aha moment right away, and we're going to keep you there for the entire time you're learning. Here's the great thing. In the end, not only will you know how to play 30 of my favorite songs, but you'll have the skills to play thousands of others. I'm so excited for you, and I hope you are too. So let's get to it. We're going to start with one of my personal favorites, Live to Love Another Day. Now, the great thing about this song is it's not only fun to play, but it's really simple. That makes it the perfect song to use for our first lesson. Now, since this is our first lesson, and there's a good chance that today might be the very first day you've ever picked up a guitar, I'm going to quickly go over some basics for you. First, let's go over the basic guitar parts, starting from the top and working our way down. This is the headstock. It's the top of the guitar. It holds the tuning pegs, which are these right here. You twist the heads of the tuning pegs to tune each string. You'll use those to tune the guitar a little bit later. This right here, this is the nut. It holds the strings in place at the top of the guitar. It's usually made of plastic or in some cases bone. This piece of the guitar is the neck. This is the neck right here. It's where you'll do your work with what they call your fretting hand. Each of these metal strips along the neck, each one of these is called a fret. And that's what we use to make the strings make different notes. Okay, moving down to the body of the guitar, this right here, that's the sound hole. The strings vibrate over the hole to make sound. Note that I'm holding an acoustic guitar. Of course, with an electric guitar, instead of a sound hole, you'll have pickups, which will pick up the vibrations of the strings and translate them into sounds that are played through an amp. This right here, this is the bridge of the guitar. Now, the bridge holds the strings in place at the bottom of the guitar. And those are the basics. Headstock, nut, frets, neck, sound hole, and bridge. And that's what makes a guitar a guitar. Let's learn how we're going to talk about the various guitar strings in these lessons. Now, you have 6 strings. They all have names, but to keep it simple, I'm going to refer to them by numbers. The The thinnest, highest string on the guitar is the one closest to the ground, and that's the high E string. There it is right there. I'm going to refer to that as the first string. Moving up one from there is the B string, that one right there. I'm going to refer to that as the second string. We go up one more from there to this one. This is the G string. I'm going to refer to that as the third string. One more up from there is D, the D string. We're going to call that the fourth string. One more up from there is this one. This is the A string. We're going to call that the fifth string. And the last string, that's the low E, but we're going to call that, you guessed it, the sixth string. As you can tell, we make different notes by putting our fingers behind different frets. We'll refer to these frets by number as well. The fret that is furthest away from you, that's the one that's closest to the headstock. This is called the first fret. Pretty simple. Next one is the second fret. This is the third fret, fourth, and so on all the way up the neck. Okay, so far you've got your string numbers, you've got your fret numbers, so the last thing you're going to need to know are your finger numbers. On your fretting hand, this is the fretting hand, you're going to be using 4 fingers, these ones right here. The first one, the index finger, we're going to call your first finger. We're going to call your middle finger the second finger, that's this one there. And your ring finger, this is going to be the third finger. Your pinky, of course, will be fourth finger. Okay, here's your first test. If I were to say to you, put your first finger on the second fret of the sixth string, what would you do? Well, let's see. Here's your first finger. The second fret, here's one fret. This is the sixth string, the low one here. That's the first fret. This is the second fret. So there you have your first finger on the sixth string on the second fret. And when you do it, it might sound a bit like this, because it takes a little bit of pressure to push that string down. Just press a little bit harder and you'll get that. First finger, sixth string, second fret. Pretty easy, right? Okay, let's tune your guitar, and let's keep this short and simple. There's a lot of ways to tune your guitar, but what we're going to do is focus on the standard tuning, which is used for almost all popular songs. We start with our sixth string. This is the low E string. That's the thickest string on the guitar, so it's also going to be the lowest sounding string. Or you can use your pick. You'll need to tune the string to an E. Now, you can use a tuner or a pitch pipe, a piano, or the internet, but you need to find an E so you can match it. Here, I'll play it for you this time. You hear that? You'll need to tune your sixth string to that note. Now, you can do that by twisting the tuning head that is attached to the sixth string. It's this one right here. You'll notice if you twist the tuning head towards you, the string pitch goes down, like this. If you twist it away from you, the string pitch goes up. So let me play the sixth string E for you several times so you can match the pitch. Okay. All right, let's do the rest. Here's your fifth string. This is an A. All right, here's the fourth string. This is, of course, our D string, just this one right here. Third string, which is the G string. This is a third string. All right, and here's the second string. This is the B, your second string. And of course the high E, this is the first string. Feel free to repeat this section if you feel like you're still out of tune. Also, on every DVD in this series, we've included a chapter at the end that plays you your notes, so you can match your strings to them and make sure that you're always in tune. Okay, now that you know your way around the guitar and you're in tune, let's get to know what you need to know to play Live to Love Another Day. Like I said, it's a pretty simple song. In fact, to play it, we only need to learn 2 chords and a basic strumming pattern. Let's start with chords. What exactly is a chord? It's when you play 2 or more notes together at one time. Some chords use only 2 strings. Other chords use 3 strings. And some use all 6. Now, as long as you're playing at least 2 notes at one time, you're playing a chord. How do we talk about our chords? How do we refer to them? What are their names? Well, we usually base the name of the chord on the note that forms the foundation of the chord. You see, each fret on each string is a note. The musical alphabet uses letters for notes, starting at A and going through to G, and then it repeats. Almost always, the chord's name starts with the central, most important note in the chord, for example, a G, and ends with a description of the shape of the chord, for example, a G major. Now, don't get stumped or bogged down by all of this. I'm just trying to eliminate some of the mystery of these chord names. There's a lot of combinations here, and we'll get to go over most of the important ones over the next 30 days. Okay, let's start with the open position G major chord. It's a bit of a mouthful, but like I said, the name tells us a lot about the chord. Open position G major is built around the note of G. That's the 3rd fret on the 6th string. That's why we call it a G chord. Now, open position G major uses a major shape. The technical definition of a major chord is a bit complicated, but here's an easy way to think about it. A major chord is a happy, lively chord. Sounds fun, clean, bright. Like that. Where does the open position term come from? Well, it basically means that when you play the chord, you can let some of the strings ring open without pressing on them. Now, lucky for us, this chord is one of the most frequently used chords on the guitar, and guitar players really don't like saying open position G major, so its name is usually shortened to just G. If anyone ever says, play a G, they almost always are referring to this one. What does a G chord actually look like? Well, you play it using your last 3 fingers. Begin with your 2nd, which is the middle finger, on the 5th string, which is here, 2nd fret. Next, use your 3rd finger, which is the ring finger, that's this one here, on the 6th string, 3rd fret. 1, 2, 3, right there. The 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings are left open, as in. Lastly, you have your 4th finger, which is your pinky. That's going to be on the 1st string, 3rd fret. It's like playing Twister with your hand. Like this. Notice we put a graphic up showing you your finger placement. We'll put these up from time to time to help you find your way around the guitar. Now give this one a try by putting your fingers in the shape of the G chord and then picking each string separately. Make sure that each note rings out nice and clean. I play G like this. It's a very different kind of thing, but at the end of the day, all of these ways of playing are going to get you started on learning how to play a song. Now, a common problem that you're going to run into at first when playing any chord is that some of the notes are buzzing or they're not ringing out clearly, like this. I know that feeling so well. That's exactly what I sounded like when I started playing. And you don't necessarily need to press harder. You probably need to make sure that your hand is positioned correctly. Position each of your fingers close to the fret, but not directly on top. Press the strings with the tips of your fingers and not the pads. And don't squeeze too hard. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to make the note. It takes a little bit, so you'll find that place where it feels right and sounds right. Just relax and move your arm, hand, and fingers around until you get each note ringing clearly. Let's try that G chord again. Second finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret. Third finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret. And the 4th finger, that's the pinky, on the 1st string, 3rd fret. Right there. You got it? There you are, you're playing G. Ta-da! Okay, now that we have the G chord down, let's strum a little. Now you can use your fingers to strum, but today we're going to use the pick. This is the pick. Now it's important to hold the pick firmly enough so that it doesn't fall out of your hand, but with a loose wrist so that your chord strums sound relaxed and natural, like this. Let's begin with down strums, keeping a nice steady rhythm. Just brush the strings with your pick. Now I hold my pick, I hold it like this, which is a little weird, but the best, simplest way to do it is really between your thumb and your first finger, like that. Now if you count out loud, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on each count do a downstroke on G. This is what it would be like. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to take a little while to get used to doing this evenly across the string, so don't worry about it. If you're doing, if you're hitting too hard on these strings or these ones or something, it's okay. It takes a little while, but just be calm and relaxed, and you'll get the feel of it. It's all about feel and getting familiar with the guitar. Now, next, alternate down and up strums, like this. This is a down strum, of course, and up would be this. Count out loud, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on each count, do a down, up, as in 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice that you don't need to hit all 6 strings on each drum. In fact, it's kind of hard to do that every time. You might just get these deeper ones here when you're going down, and then up might be more like this. And don't forget to breathe. If you feel tense, you'll sound tense. Relax, breathe, and strum. And don't be afraid to make some noise. Okay, now that we're making some noise, let's add some rhythm. We're going to start with a basic 4/4 rhythm. The count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And just FYI, each number of the count is called a beat. And each count of a 1, 2, 3, 4 is called a measure or a bar. Now, sometimes when you hear people talk about how long to stay on a note or a chord, you'll hear them say 2 bars or 1 beat. I'm going to be saying that from time to time, so it's worth knowing the lingo. Okay, back to it. As we count 1, 2, 3, 4, play a down strum on each beat, as in 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get used to the sound and you can begin to feel the rhythm, add an upstroke in between the counts, as in 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you're going to start incorporating downstrokes and upstrokes. Now stay slow until you get your rhythm. Then you can speed it up. Now let's add a rhythm technique called pulsing. Pulsing is done with the fretting hand. It's this one right here. And it's simple. All you have to do is loosen the pressure on your fingers without letting go of the chord. That way the strings stop ringing and you can have a little more control over the sound. It almost looks like your fret hand is bouncing. Okay, give it a try. First, grip the G chord, right here. Next, play a down strum. Then, loosen the pressure of the fret hand, which is the one making the chord. Loosen the pressure of that hand to mute the strings, like this. The pulse creates a more rhythmic and percussive feel. Now you'll see that as we go, using a type of pulsing will give you a lot of control over the guitar during the song. Okay, one more rhythm technique is called the palm mute. That's using the palm of your hand. A palm mute is another way to control the ringing of the strings. Basically, you just rest the outside edge of your picking hand, which is this one here. You rest it on the strings. This is what the strings sound like. And if I were to rest the palm of my hand right here, this is what it would sound like. Another variation on this is to pick the chord while palm muting. This will give a short, muffled beat to your notes. It adds a lot of attitude. If this is up and down strokes, and then we rest our palm on the strings and try and continue the up and down strokes, using our fingers more so our hand stays right there. I use this technique a lot, mostly for downstrokes, like this. This gives it more rhythm than just saying. Now the key here is to focus on only the bottom 1 or 2 strings of your chord. It's difficult to play all 6 strings when you're palm muting. So you just want to make sure to get the basic bass notes. Combining pulsing and palm mutes will give you all sorts of texture to your sound. And we'll do that a lot in this series. Okay, we know G major, we know how to strum in 4/4 time, and we know how to make pulse and palm mute. We only need one more chord to get us to our song. That chord is open position C major, or what most people call C. Again, before we play our C major chord, remember that the name means something. The open position C major chord is built around the note of C. It uses a major shape, which means it's pretty bright, pretty happy. Here's what it looks like. Begin with your first finger on the 2nd string, 1st fret. Now add your 2nd finger to the 4th string. This is on the 2nd fret. Next, use your 3rd finger, that's your ring finger right here, to play the 5th string on the 3rd fret. This is what it looks like. So, there you are. Now this is an open position because we're going to let the 3rd and 1st strings ring open. There's your 3rd string, and there's your 1st string. when you play that chord, C major, open. There's that open chord. And then that one. Now you notice that we're not using the sixth string, this one here. We're not using that one at all. When you play the C position like this, you'll actually notice that you can use this finger, your third finger, to mute this string like this. If you play that there, this string probably sounds like this, which means this finger is muting it. That way when you play this chord, you don't hear this string. You don't want to hear that open string in this chord, otherwise this is what it sounds like. Now you don't want to hear that. So you really got two ways to go about it. You pick from here, but more likely you're probably going to strum the whole thing, so it's better to mute it. You got it? Now it takes a couple of minutes to adjust your fingers, thumb, hand, and elbow to make sure that you're hitting all the notes cleanly, but patience is the key. Just take your time, relax, there's no hurry. And I was hitting wrong notes and wrong strings and wrong fingers all the time when I started, but it just takes a little moment. Guys, what'd I tell you? We learned a little bit, and now we're ready to play our first song. Like I said, you'll need the G and C chords that we've worked on, and a basic 4/4 strumming pattern. Live to Love has three parts to it: the intro, the verse, and the chorus. Luckily, they're all built using the G and C chords. So let's get to it. Okay, for the intro, we strum a G chord for 8 measures. That's 8 counts of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like this. Now, it's a little quick, okay? I get it. It's a little quick. So I'm going to try and slow it down from the record. It will still be a little quick, but you can always pause, go back. The great thing about this DVD, I want to remind you, is that if we're getting ahead too far, you can go back and review any of these things. Review the G chord, review the C chord, the strumming, whatever you need to do. Just take your time. Don't take on too much at once. That's the most important thing. If you're having fun and you can figure this out, then stay with us. If not, just take a break and come back to it. There's no rush. So we're going to try and do this intro in G. And a little bit of palm muting is good too, if you can do that. If you can remember that, that's putting your palm right there. And we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Now I know it looks easy. It's not easy to do. I get it. I understand that. So just do your best to get that intro sounding like that. Because the song is much quicker than that, but you can build to that till you get to the point where it sounds like... That may take a little while, so just take your time. Anyway, that's the gist of it. That's the intro. The verse is also fairly simple. The first part is 8 measures played on a G chord using a palm mute, like we've been doing. It's just it's a continuation of the intro, like that. The vocal starts. Now the second part is 2 measures of C, 2 measures of G, 2 measures of C, 2 measures of G, like this. So we're in the G chord. So that's all the G. I gotta go, let me standing on the side of the road. And then up to the G. Now she's gone and I'm a memory in her. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the verse right there. All right, next is the chorus. It's pretty easy. Again, we're going to use the C and the G. That's it. We'll lead into the chorus with 2 measures of G, as in 1, 2. That's 2 measures right there. And then the chorus kicks in with 2 measures of C. 1, 2, followed by 2 measures of G. 1, 2. So the chorus is like this. 'Cause summer's come, summer's go, I'll keep walking down this road. It's alright, it's okay, I'll live to love another day. I'll live to love another day. And take your time and think about the order of the song. It's easy to think about it in chunks, as in first the intro, which is just that, right? Next is the verse. That's all the verse. That whole sequence is the verse. And next is the chorus. Summer's go, I keep walking down this road. It's alright, it's okay, I'll live to love another day. I'll live to love another day. You'll hear the song fully later. You've got your intro, got the first verse, and you've got your chorus. Next, you've got your intro, another verse, and last, our chorus. Just like I did it. Play it slowly and count until you can feel the rhythm. Okay, you've got the chords, you've got the strumming pattern, and you have the order and structure of the song. Now it's time to put it all together and play it all the way through. And to help you do that, I brought in a group of really, really good musicians to get you to practice and play along with. First, our guys are going to work through an acoustic version of the song. Now this is the time to really watch what's happening. You can practice along and get the song under your belt. You'll see we've included chord graphics to help you learn the entire song. Now, these graphics will match the chords that I've been teaching you. We've also included a close-up shot of the musician's hand so you can see exactly how they're doing it. Now the best part is, for these acoustic versions, we've lowered the vocals, amped up the guitar, and you can really, really hear what's being played and learn your part at the same time. So take your time, play along, and feel free to practice and repeat it until you feel like you've got the song down pat. In this one, you'll play Live to Love Another Day, and you'll be playing with Ben. Have fun.
Thanks, Keith. Hey, y'all, I'm Ben Hope, and this is Live to Love Another Day. All right, y'all, that's excellent.
All right, nice work. Now, if you feel like you still need the practice, you can go back and repeat the acoustic performance as many times as you need. But if you think you've got it down, I think you're ready to jam with the band. For the second performance, you're going to have our singer, a guitar player, you're going to be playing with our drummer, and a bass player. Make sure you have fun. It's like a rehearsal. You just watch our singer, you watch how he fits in along with the rest of the group. Also, you'll see we included the chords in the corner of the screen. This is going to help you follow along and practice with the band. You ready? Let's do it.
If that goes for the good, it must go for the bad. 'Cause summer's come, summer's gone, I'll keep walking down this road. It's alright, but it's okay, and I'll live to love another day. I'll live to love another day.
All right, now here's the really fun part. For this last performance, you're going to get to play with the band again, but guess what? A singer is going to step aside and they're going to let you lead the band. That's right. This time, it's your whole band. It's all yours. You're the player. Go get 'em.